Hi everyone, welcome to Knitting Noodles. Happy New Year! And in this new year, I thought I would bring everyone two new, fairly easy cast-on methods. So I have a previous video where I show two of the most basic cast-on methods, which is the knit-on cast-on and the single cast-on, I believe it's called. And I'm going to show you two, still basic, but a step up from that. So I'm going to show you German longtail cast-on, also just called longtail cast-on. And I'm going to show you a tubular cast-on, which I only recently learned, but it is very helpful if you're making something like a hat and you want it to match the pattern exactly and have a lot of stretch to it. So I'm going to show you both of those. So let's just get right into it. Okay, so for the longtail cast-on, which is the first one, what we are going to do is we're going to cast on 10 stitches to get the right number. Longtail just means that you're going to have a long tail and you're basically starting in the middle of the work instead of putting a slip knot at the end and working down. So a good place to start, like a gauge for how much yarn you need, leaving a little bit of a tail. Whatever needles you're using, you want to wrap it around there, the number of times that you're going to put stitches on your needle. So in this case, I'm going to wrap it around 10 times, which I already lost track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I want to do 2 extra just in case. And that's basically how much tail I need for 10 stitches. Alright, so for the long tail cast on, we have this length that we wrapped around. Now the first step we're going to do is we're going to take it, bring it in front of our pinky, wrap it around the front, so making a little loop around our pinky. Then we're going to go up and over our pointer finger. Then we're going to go in front of our thumb, around the back, back in front, and this is going to get pinched underneath the pinky finger that we have wrapped around. So now you have this weird, like one of those string games you used to play as a kid. So we have that on one hand. So the first step is to get a slip knot onto your needle. Now, slip knot you could do from this, I guess, position, I don't know. But basically there's an easy way to make a slip knot through this. So what you're going to do is come from the bottom, go into that thumb loop, go around and scoop under the string that's attached to the pointer finger. You're going to scoop it through thumb loop. You're going to let it drop off your thumb. And that right there is a slip knot. And now we're in position to do the cast on. So as you can see, it's like a slingshot. Pew! That's always how you know you're in the right position. Now if you do get messed up, let's say you accidentally drop, easy way to remember. The one attached to the ball always goes by your thumb. Short tail gets wrapped around your pinky, over the pointer, and then thumb goes through there. So let me show you one more time, just in case you drop it, you forget, so you don't have to start over. Short tail, we're wrapping it around the pinky, over the pointer finger, and that's it for the short tail. The one that's still attached to the ball, you're gonna have it dangling in front. You're just gonna bring it, put your thumb around like that, and this part gets pinched underneath the pinky, and you're back in the slingshot. Now for the actual cast on, this looks super cool and makes you look like a pro knitter, just because of how funky it looks. So you're in your slingshot. You're gonna go around the loop attached to your thumb. You're gonna take this outside loop. So you're gonna scoop it from the top. So underneath, from the top, scoop down, bring it around. Don't let it drop off your thumb yet. Then you're gonna go outside pointer finger and scoop that through. and then drop it off your thumb. Just like that. It's very funky looking. Makes you look very professional, and it makes a very clean cast-on edge. Alright, so again, we're going to do the next stitch. Around. Scoop over and under. Keep it on that thumb. You can go around and through. Drop it off your thumb. Another time, super slow motion. Under, over, under, around, and through. Drop it off your thumb. That's 4. I'll show you what it looks like fast, because that's what really caught me and made me want to learn this cast on. Like, you can't tell me that that doesn't make you look like you know exactly what you're doing. So again, slow motion, so you know how to do this. Under, like that. Then you're gonna go around, scoop that, and through. Just like that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so 3 more. So slingshot, go around the thumb loop, get that outside piece, bring it towards you, take the string, scoop through, drop off your thumb. That's 8. That's 9. And that is 10. And that's how you do the long tail cast on. It might take some practicing. Took me a few tries, but once you get into the rhythm of it, it does look really cool, like as you're doing it. If you're one of those people who like to show off in public, sometimes I like to, you know, get a conversation starter that way. But just by yourself, it makes you feel important, because you could do a cool cast on. Also, it gives a really nice, neat edge and a practical reason why to use this cast on. Really nice, clean edge. It is a simpler cast on, even though it looks complicated. It is a simpler one. There are some really annoying and even more hard cast ons than this. So it is still on the basic end. And then I'm going to show you how to do a tubular cast on. Alright, so for the tubular cast on, what you're going to need is, this is another long tail-ish cast on. You are going to need a long tail. You're starting basically towards the middle of wherever. Easiest way to start is by making a slip knot. You do not have to, but from experience, this is basically just a twisted cast on. There is no knots, and as you're working it, it's really difficult, especially that first work around. This tends to be more for working in the round, in my opinion. However, it can go anywhere where you need a stretchy edge, because it is very stretchy. The fact that it's just twisted really helps. I've only ever used it for 1x1 ribbing, so that's what I'm going to show a 1x1 tubular cast on. So step 1, like I said, it's much easier if you start with a slip knot. You're going to put that on your needle. Now, it's going to be a similar position to the long tail cast on, however, a lot simpler. So the short tail, you're going to have that towards you, attached to the ball, make that away from you. The one attached from the ball, you're going to rest over the top of your pointer finger, and the short tail, you're going to rest over the top of your thumb. You're going to pinch both of those underneath these 2 fingers. So again, we're in that slingshot position. However, we're not scooping around anywhere. We're going to start off, this is a knit So we're going to start off with a purl. For a purl, always remember you're going to go towards your pointer finger. So you're going to go under your pointer finger, you're going to go over your thumb, and you're going to go back around. And as you can see right here, that brings the yarn in front, which mimics or symbolizes a purl stitch. Now as you can see, this is over the top, which now means we go the other direction. So we're going to go under the thumb, over the pointer, and back towards the direction you came from. And now the yarn's wrapped around the back, and that is a knit. So again, if you ever lose track, the yarn over your thumb is now over the top, which means we're going pointer ways. So you go towards the yarn that's on the bottom. So around, under, over the thumb, and back the way you came. And you just keep going like that, alternating. Under, over, back the way you came, under, over, back the way you came. This literally is just a twist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we have 10 stitches. Now, anytime you need stretch, this is a great way to do it. This is going to be very annoying. The first stitch that you need to get onto is going to be a little annoying, so just be careful with it. Something that I forgot to mention is if you're working on straight needles, meaning you're working both the front and the back of the piece, pay attention to what your last cast on was. If it was a purl stitch, that means going back, you're going to be knitting that stitch. Alternatively, if it was a knit stitch, that means going back, it's going to be a purl for your first stitch. So just pay attention to that when you're working. So you can kind of see here, I'm just going to show you how to knit this. See how right here there's a bump in front? I don't know if you can see it that well. Basically, there's that bump in front, which looks like a purl stitch, which it is. So if you see a bump in front, just assume purl. This one is going to be a knit stitch, so just be careful with that. Make sure you're using the one attached to the ball. Knit, bring it in front, purl, and then you just do that to the end, alternating knit and purl. It is going to look a little loose. Don't worry, because it has stretch. It is just twisted and is going to blend right in with your work. This cast on is seamless with ribbing, so for something like socks where there's ribbing, you need a lot of stretch. This is a perfect cast on for that because it does have a lot of stretch. While the German longtail does have some stretch, it can be a little tight for something with ribbing. Like the top won't be as stretchy as the ribbing itself. So for something where you need stretch, something like a sock, maybe a mitten cuff, or a hat where you have ribbing as the stretchy part, this is a perfect cast on method to use for that. So I hope this was informative and helpful, and I broke it down easy enough to understand. It definitely took me a few times to understand both of these, so I hope I went slow enough for everyone. And yeah, I hope all of your New Year's was amazing and great and filled with lots of knitting. See you all next week in the new year. Bye!